So let's bring in Hal Kempfer. He is a retired Marine intelligence officer and the host of the Strat podcast. Good to see you, Hal.
Good to see you, Laura.
Okay, let's get into it because, Hal, it appears that both sides do seem ready to deal, but are also ready to strike. So they both have that rhetoric going. How close do you think a deal really is, and how ready do you think each side is to pull the trigger on military strikes?
Well, we've seen this administration, say they're close to a deal. We've seen that with Ukraine many times, that the war there was close to a deal. It's difficult to tell. Certainly, Abbas Araghchi, the foreign minister of Iran, has indicated that he's very open to having talks on nuclear weapons. But then in the same breath, he turns around and says, but we will not discuss nor negotiate ballistic missiles. And that's a big part of the U.S. position. It's always been a big part of the Israeli position. And it's kind of a big part of the position in the entire region is their ballistic missile threat. So by putting that out there, it doesn't show a lot of movement in that direction other than the rhetoric of saying we're open for it, but we have this huge armada in place,
right?
And we have a capability to do things that we couldn't have done a week ago.
Yeah, and we have some breaking information I want to bring to you and our viewers. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff said on X just a short while ago that he and a U.S. delegation held a productive and constructive meeting with Russia over a potential peace resolution in the Ukraine conflict. We're just getting this in. Witkoff said that the delegation was encouraged by this meeting. So let me just get your reaction to this, and where do you think the U.S. goes from here?
Well, the question on that meeting is going to be, did they talk about territorial concessions? You know, the sticking point on that has been that Russia's demand consistently is that Ukraine has to pull out of the Donbass entirely and cede that over to Russia. Obviously, Ukraine is not inclined to do that. Under the Constitution, literally, Zelensky can't do that without a major plenary vote in order to make that happen. So that has always been the sticking point. And this is not the first time we have seen Steve Witkoff come back with what looks like kind of an agreement with the Russians, but that territorial concession issue, that territorial exchange issue, that becomes the big sticking point. So we'll see if that's part of this. Did we kind of concede that on behalf of Ukraine, and we can't do that on behalf of Ukraine? We'll have to see what that really entails.
And Hal, with your experience, I've got to ask you this question about the naval assets that the U.S. currently has in the Middle East. I'm sure that you heard Trump there saying they've got to float somewhere, may as well be close to Iran. So what would a strike on Iran look like with these forces in the region as we take a look at this map together to look at the U.S. Navy assets near the Middle East? What do you see?
Well, they do have to float somewhere. That is absolutely correct.
Yes.
What you have in the Arabian Sea is a carrier task force. They don't want to go up into the Gulf because that's very enclosed waterway. Also, Iran, not only is the Strait of Hormuz very, very tight, but also Iran, specifically the Revolutionary Guard Corps, is actually telling folks that they're doing war games in there. They're doing naval exercises. The U.S. has said, don't do that. You're causing the chance for mishap incredibly. So we have a lot of assets there. The big thing is we have a lot of these Aegis-equipped frigates, cruisers in the Gulf that can provide some sort of shield for a ballistic missile or drone launch coming over from Iran in retaliation. And then we have the ability to launch a lot of strikes without having to overfly certain territories like Saudi Arabia or some of the Gulf states. And they have all asked that we not do that. They have all said, please do not fly over our territory and make us a target. Although, interestingly, the foreign minister of Saudi Arabia Friday turned around and said, you know, with all these assets in place, the U.S. almost has to do something, almost has to strike. That was a kind of a subtle shift in tone, but it indicates that maybe Saudi Arabia is kind of giving a tentative thumbs up for the U.S. to go ahead and do strikes, certainly putting pressure on Iran.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.